Hi, good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Jen Massey. I'm the Pro Bono Director at Children's Law Center. Many thanks to Steptoe for hosting us today. If you haven't already gotten some coffee or light refreshments outside of the room, of course, help yourself. I'm going to go through the following roadmap just as an introduction for setting the stage for today's caregiver training. I'm going to talk a little bit about Children's Law Center's Pro Bono program. Some of you are already current partners and have taken cases with us or are quite familiar, and some I know are new. We'll talk about an overview of today's training and some takeaways, and I'll review the agenda and materials that you have as well. So I'd like to start talking about our pro bono program in terms of the need, the reality, and the impact. So the families that come to Children's Law Center, we're not able to help all of them. We help as many as we can, but those who we're placing with pro bono attorneys would go without a lawyer if we didn't have pro bono attorneys. And what we've learned through having a whole spectrum of pro bono attorneys serving clients is that they are successful. And the mere difference that a lawyer can make on a case, from having advocacy skills, from being able to assist with negotiation and various things, it's huge. And so we want to start by noting that we really need pro bono attorneys to help us meet the need that we can't. We have too many clients and families that are going without legal representation. It makes a huge difference, and lawyers are finding success whatever they do during the day. And so that's something that I just want to start noting as we talk about our pro bono program. The who of our pro bono program, we have myself as our pro bono director at Children's Law Center, Alyssa Tenders, our pro bono and intake assistant. So you met her today. You've probably gotten emails from her as well. And then we have a lot of staff mentors. And so whenever you take a pro bono case at Children's Law Center, you get someone who's an expert in that practice area serve as your mentor, somebody who's going to be there to guide you along the way. We have pro bono partners from all areas of law. So that ranges from private practice to government attorneys, in-house counsel. We have solo practitioners, retired attorneys. We have all sorts of lawyers who are taking on these cases, and after you've either come to a training like today's or reviewed our training materials online and you're eligible to practice in DC, whether it's through your own bar membership or through an exception under Rule 49, that's it. That's all you need to participate in our pro bono program. We have no prior experience doing this work required. You do not have to be a litigator to do this work either. So again, all types of lawyers are finding success in our cases. You're here today for our caregiver custody training. We do have 4 types of cases that we generally place pro bono, and so you'll see those listed here. You're also going to see an available cases list at the top of your handouts today. These are all of the cases that we have pending currently where we're looking for a lawyer to assist. You'll see a couple for caregiver custody. We also have some new cases that are coming in that were too hot to even make it to the press. So we have another Spanish-speaking client that we know we're going to need assistance either for custody or adoption. So if you speak Spanish, please let me know. Even if for some reason you aren't able to take a case now, if you know someone who speaks Spanish, please let me know. Please let them know. Spread the word. That is a really big need. It's a big need currently. So we have a second case that isn't listed that's a Spanish-speaking need. We also have another matter where the caregiver of a young child, about 15 months old, has been caring for that child after the child was born. The parent is a teen mother, and so the child has severe asthma, and the caretaker needs some type of documentation or legal order in order to provide for that child's medical care. I could talk more details about that case as well as other cases during our breaks today or after the training, but I did want to mention that we had a couple of cases that are relevant to today's training that are not on that list. If you're interested in other areas, we do have a guardian ad litem case available, and on the back we have several special education cases available. We also have housing conditions matters, and we just placed recent cases that we had pending. We will get more. So if you're interested in that, I'm happy to talk about that with you as well. And thank you for those of you in the room who've already taken some of those cases. Where do these cases come from? Where does Children's Law Center get the referrals? So we have three main buckets. We get custody, guardian ad litem referrals straight from the court. Judges send those to Children's Law Center directly, looking for a lawyer to represent a child in a contested custody case. We have a medical legal partnership, and pediatricians are referring both our special education and housing conditions cases to us. And then we get community referrals and calls to CLC for these caregiver custody cases. So we're doing a full intake with these clients, and we're getting, we're spotting the legal issues at play, and we're getting all of the information about the client's circumstances and case in that process before we're placing the case. How do we support our pro bono lawyers? We do it through screening in the first case. So we have thorough intakes, and we are screening for which cases are most appropriate for pro bono. You heard me say you don't have to have done these cases before or have prior experience. And so we're looking at cases and the complexities and the issues that are involved. If there's something that really requires an in-house attorney at Children's Law Center, then we're going to make sure an in-house attorney at Children's Law Center is handling that case. But we have a lot of cases that pro bono attorneys are able to meet the need without any prior experience. So we're doing the screening on the front end. We have trainings like today, various resources online. That flash drive in front of you has a whole bunch of stuff on it. So in the bound training handouts today, there is a table of contents that tells you what's on that flash drive. And so I encourage you to peruse that at your leisure. And remember, you have some place to reference. You do not have to invent the wheel. We already did that, and we update it over time. So we have the materials online. We are recording today's training. So as you can see at the screen that I'm pointing to, I'm only on it. So you guys are not on camera today, only presenters, but this will be made available. So that is another resource you can go back to. And you heard me talk about our mentors. So you're going to get a mentor at the time of taking a case with us. That person is going to look over the individual case that you're taking and give you tailored recommendations for getting started, and stay by your side for strategic discussions, thinking about next steps. And it's going to be somebody who has experience and exposure to these practice areas, so that they can guide you and talk about, how does this work? What does family court really look like? What about this judge? What about these case facts? So you're going to have somebody really go through your individual case with tailored recommendations based on their experience and expertise. Okay, why do people do pro bono cases with Children's Law Center? These are the things that we hear time and time again. They may not be that surprising, and those of you who have done it have given us some of this feedback. So we have very hands-on lawyering, handling any of the cases that you're taking on with us. You have direct advocacy with your client. There's a lot of client counseling. There's a lot of negotiation. Some cases litigate, and we can talk more about that and any questions that people might have. We will go through pretrial and trial advocacy today. And of course, again, this is something that we would mentor around as well in any individual case. Some people are looking for litigation opportunities. Some people aren't, so we can talk about that in terms of finding a good fit. We have concrete results listed here for children, and it's pretty amazing the outcome on these cases. We have a lot of caregivers who are family members. So a lot of clients are grandparents. That's very, very common. It can be family friends, kin, all sorts of different types of third parties who are stepping in and stepping up to care for a child. This can mean avoiding the entry in foster care. This can mean somebody stepping up to ensure that a child's medical and educational needs are met, that they have a safe and stable home, and to be able to walk your client through the legal process so that they have a legal order saying they can keep doing that is really impactful, and it can make all the difference. It can be like this child with asthma and having a quicker trip to the doctor, to the hospital when the child needs medical care because you have a legal order in place. So the results are very real, and we hear from our partners time and again that that's very rewarding. Getting involved. A lot of you are on our listserv, and you hear about our cases and trainings like today. Again, we have trainings on our website. You can reach out to me. I'm the person to speak with about finding a case and having a good fit. You're hearing me say different things about whether you want litigation or not. Those are the conversations that I have with people and figuring out whether a case is a good fit. You see at the bottom, consider co-counseling or teaming with colleagues. That is something that's common on pro bono cases, and I think people have enjoyed it, and that's a nice element of having someone out in the world doing the work with you in a co-counseling or teaming capacity through your employer. Okay, case placement process. This is a nice little reference tool. So let's say that we find our good fit of what might be the case for you. You're going to get a case placement email either from Melissa or myself, and it's going to give you a lot of materials for getting started. It's going to include that CLC mentor assignment. It's also going to include the intake. So you're going to get to see what are all those questions we asked and responses that we got from the client. Once you have your conflicts cleared and you're ready to go, that really prompts two things: getting in touch with the client so you can set up an initial meeting, and our mentor is going to know that's the green light for getting in touch and having an individualized recommendation sort of conversation with you as you get started on your. Okay, so moving on to today's training so that we can jump right in. In terms of logistics, I think everyone probably got a card with Wi-Fi information. If you need that, please feel free to let me know in the back. Restrooms, if you head out of the conference room down this hallway, there's signage that you should see directing you to the right to the restroom. Training materials, there is a lot here. So again, these are tools and resources for you to refer back to. The flash drive is our training manual, and handout number 4, I believe, tells you the table of contents, everything that's on that manual. You're going to see a number of different things when you review that in terms of resources that we have available. That is also on our website as well. So what's on the flash drive is also accessible online. You're going to see the case list that I've mentioned, and then 2 different types of surveys. So one is a pro bono attorney survey that we also sent out electronically. Some of you have completed it. You don't need to do the paper copy if you've already done it electronically. If you haven't done it yet, we do ask that you complete that today. And then there's a training evaluation that we also ask everyone to complete. It's front and back. We are hoping to have whatever feedback you have about this experience, because we are here for you. So if there's something we can be doing better, we want to do that. Okay, moving to your bound handout. So there is an agenda behind that cover page. So you'll see that what we're going to do today is move through a brief overview of family court. We're going to get into custody law in practice before talking more about our client realities and being culturally humble in our representation in these cases. We'll break for lunch at 11:45, and we'll end the day with a case study and getting into those pretrial and trial advocacy considerations for these types of cases. Some of you may have read over an article that talks more about our clients that I think is representative of a lot of the families that we're helping. So it's it was linked to the reminder email that you received from Melissa, and it's also in the bound handouts, the rise of the grand family. So this talks about a really great resource in the district, Plaza West, which is housing for grand families. It's a very special place. We've had a number of clients from CLC there, and it's a really great resource for this population. And if you haven't reviewed the article yet, you'll see more about why and how that is compelling after reviewing it. So I do think that's a great way to learn more about the clients that we're serving in these matters. So I just wanted to point that out. You'll see at the back of those handouts, the training PowerPoint slides are there with notes pages if you want to mark up any notes from today's training. Okay, we're going to slide through our agenda today. The takeaways for today's training: it's not to be an expert in custody law by the time you walk out the door. It's gaining familiarity. It might be a refresher if you've done this before. And again, knowing that we have resources, knowing that you have a mentor to guide you along the way. We do need pro bono assistance for these cases. We are getting calls that, we're helping as many clients and serving as many clients as we can at Children's Law Center, but we're always in need of pro bono lawyers to help us for those who we can't help directly. We do ask, in our request for you as a takeaway today, to fill out those surveys that I mentioned, and definitely consider taking a case. And please ask me questions if there's any question that you have about any of the matters that I've mentioned or anything that I can possibly answer for you. Okay, without any further ado, we're just going to keep this train moving. I know that we started just a little bit late, so we're going to try to keep everyone on time. I'm going to turn things over to Diane Weinroth. She is special counsel at Children's Law Center. She knows everything about everything. She'll tell you she doesn't. I'm not convinced. She is one of our fantastic mentors at Children's Law Center, and she could be yours.
Thank you. I often say my